was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get touchdown number 6. He's the greatest running back of all time, right?
Joe Mixon is Gale Sayers and Barry Sanders reincarnated. Who knew?
San Francisco could have traded for him. Damn.
The hell with McCaffrey and Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon just. And it's funny because during the broadcast, they were like, the Bengals made a philosophy change and decided to run the ball more. You just playing against the Carolina Panthers.
Philosophy change, man, please.
Man.
Just play the damn Panthers every week. That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, you can't run the ball? Just play Carolina.
Play Carolina.
I bet Joe Mixon has like 29 yards next week.
I bet money. I bet money.
I bet money, yeah. I'm going to find out what the prop bet is in Vegas on that, and I'm about to make some money. Because did we even have linebackers? Oh, here come Danny. Didn't y'all lose to the Chargers, man?
In the most Atlanta way possible. Did y'all blow another lead?
Not even worth talking about Atlanta. Like, Atlanta's going to win the division with a losing record and miss out on a top pick and then be trash next year and wonder why.
Right.
At least we can say, hey, we in the CJ Stroud sweepstakes. Is that
man, we are losing with a purpose, buddy.
Right, yeah.
Tank Commander, here we are, buddy. Yes, I am in the damn tank, and I have my bullhorn. Tank Commander, let's go.
Danny said, see y'all Thursday night. Yeah, I don't
know if I care.
I hope y'all win. I hope they let them win, sure. I don't even... Yeah, tell you what, we'll help you guys out, and y'all help us out. For those who didn't watch the game because these mugs is trash.
And you have better things to do. You can go spend time with your family. Yeah.
Look at the rain outside. It was beautiful. I would have rather watched that for 3 hours. The Cincinnati Bengals won the Battle of the Queen City today as they defeated the Carolina Panthers by 3 touchdowns in a game that wasn't as close as 3 touchdowns would indicate.
I thought we were going to get beat 69-0.
Oh, yeah. The Panthers should have lost by 6 touchdowns today. It should have been 42-0. But Baker Mayfield came in and started balling in garbage time. It was just last week I said that was the dumbest game maybe in Carolina Panthers history. I changed my mind. This was the dumbest game. Dumbest game ever. 42-21 was the final score. PJ Walker got yanked at the half. Baker Mayfield comes in and goes 14 for 20 for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns on 126 rating. But just dumb. Just very dumb.
Hey, do you have any clown makeup? Because guess who predicted these losers to win last week? This guy right here. Yeah.
I thought about you all game, man. Like, dang, man. Jamal said these mugs would win, and they just making him look bad. And to be fair, I didn't pick him to win, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this.
Nobody said
it. They didn't have Jamar Chase either. They didn't even have Jamar Chase.
Did they need him?
What's that?
Did they need him?
No. They didn't need nobody. They backup came in and was putting dots on the field. He came in super confident, like, oh, this is easy money right here.
Hey man, and to get into the meat of our discussion, because it's every time the Panthers don't show much of a professional effort, it's harder for us to be professional. Because why should we be professional when your team looks like JCSU on the field?
If y'all don't care, why
the hell should under construction care? I mean, you know. However, let me try my best to be professional and talk about this damn game for a second, okay? Last week, Kaza, there's one thing, because I look so stupid predicting these dudes to win, but I did warn you of one thing last week, because I gave Al Holcomb some smoke last week about some things about the defense that I didn't particularly like. Now, I was kind of saying that because I was attributing our defense having some trouble because of Marcus Mariota being a mobile quarterback, them, running a heavy quarterback QB option offense.
Mm-hmm.
Our problems of covering Kyle Pitts. I made some our defensive. I was attributing our defensive struggles to that. Okay, so my reasoning was that hey, the Bengals offense is a little more vanilla than the Falcons are, so maybe the defense will have a better day. Boy, was I wrong. Now, with that being said, Al Holcomb, he has proven why he is an interim defensive play caller. And there's a fine line between a defensive play caller and a defensive coordinator. He has clearly shown to me he does not deserve to be a defensive coordinator because this effort today, and I use effort with quotation marks, was god awful. It was trash. I can't pinpoint one good thing the entire defense did this game. I can't pinpoint one. I don't know what to say.
Do we have any linebackers? Do we even have linebackers on the field?
It doesn't.
No.
They're as big as you.
Yeah. Derek Brown left the game in the third quarter for illness. Get the fuck out of here. That's all. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was sick. I was sick of the game too.
Look, if I could quit watching, it's not fair that we had to continue to watch this bullshit and Derek Brown gets to quit. That's not fair at all, buddy. I'm sorry. And it's also interesting how at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Carolina Panthers still haven't mentioned what this damn illness was.
Yeah, illness.
Illness, really, Derek?
Yeah.
Really?
I've seen players literally come off the field, vomit, take a swig of Gatorade, and get their ass back out there. And then you sit your big ass over illness.
I have seen players with their ankles wrapped up with about a pound of bandages go back on the field.
Who was that player? I want to say it was Lawrence Taylor, or maybe it was Ronnie Lott.
It was Ronnie Lott who got his finger cut off.
Amputated in the middle of came off the field. They amputated his finger, and he went back in the game.
Back out in the game and played. But Derek Brown says, "I'm tired of getting my ass kicked today, and I don't want to play anymore." Unreal. Excuse my language. Unfucking believable that you. Unreal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just sit up here and drink my water and let you go and let y'all talk because I'm speechless at this today. Good Lord have mercy.
Hey, okay, but Brian Burns came to play. I'm gonna give Brian Burns. I'm gonna let him off the hook. He had a sack. The Panthers had 2 sacks. I'll give him that. The Bengals actually did not have any sacks. The O-line did not play terrible. We'll get to the offense in a minute, though. But Brian Burns played well, which is kind of reassuring considering the report that came out, the official report earlier that stated what teams were willing to give in order to get Brian Burns right before the trade deadline. Man, there's no way I'm not pulling that trigger. 2 first-round picks and a second for Brian Burns. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Yep.
It was a nice 3-4 seasons we had.
Well, thank you.
Happy trails, buddy.
Here's the thing. Y'all know I hate draft picks. I do not like draft picks. But 2 firsts in the NFL. 2 firsts for Brian Burns. Now, and I like Brian Burns, but 2 firsts.
Kaza, I have never. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all listening out there, Kaza, correct me if I'm wrong. I have never heard a broadcast mention the fact that teams turn down draft picks. Yeah. The broadcast people usually talk about the game itself, right? They don't analyze draft picks and trades and all that stuff. When I heard the broadcast people, whoever they were, because I don't even know who was broadcasting the game today. That's how
Sanchez and somebody.
No, whoever.
But Jonathan Vilma. Thank God.
Oh, thank God. You know what?
He would have had his pom-poms. Seeing the Panthers lose 42 zip. He would, man, oh my gosh, he would have.
Brian Vilma probably would have had his Saints jersey on the day if he was watching this game, man. But back to the point I was making, man. You could tell in the tone of the broadcaster voice, like, you know what? I don't know if I would have turned down those two draft picks.
I don't know if there's anybody on the Panthers right now that I would not trade for 2 firsts and a second.
Not this.
And there are some guys, you know, J.C. Horn, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin. Those guys are.
I love me some Jeremy Chin. I love me some Brian Burns, but that's a pretty big haul for anybody on this roster, man.
So now, as it relates to the game in the Panthers, like maybe the Panthers are right. Maybe Brian Burns is worth keeping because he's the only person worth a damn.
Right.
Worth keeping. Right. I mean,
and not to cut you off, but I think they're legit scared of not being able to replace him, and I guess that's valid. But
yeah, and to be fair, that is fair. 2 most important positions in the NFL: quarterback, defensive end. You got a defensive end that's probably going to get you about 10 sacks per season, which is, you know, that's pretty good in the NFL. I guess I'll give him some slack on that. And Brian Burns did have a pretty good game today, but not like it mattered. And there's just so much blame to go around for this game because the defense normally like one side of the ball is to like the other side plays all right, but the offense really shit the bed. But the Bengals got the ball first, and they didn't. It was like they just did not care that the Carolina Panthers would line up on the other side of the ball.
It's funny, man, because from the first drive, like you said, you know, they set the tone for the entire game, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, you know, this ain't going to continue the rest of the game. Like, this is not our defense. Our defense doesn't give up drives like that. And to be fair, on the second Bengals drive, 3 and out. So I'm saying, okay, we're good, right? At that point, it's only 7-0. And then it clicked. The light bulb went off for the Bengals. Like, you know what? They can't stop Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon basically is the entire second drive. And it was just a snowball from there. I said, I don't know if it was the second touchdown or the third touchdown, but I just came to the conclusion, like, this team isn't prepared to play on either side of the ball.
No.
And it showed itself. And the thing is, with the offensive side of the ball, P.J. Walker was so awful. I don't know if I can really blame the entire offense. I hate to shit on one dude, but P.J. Walker was so bad.
He was so bad.
And then when you look at when Baker Mayfield came in the game and the offense looks like an NFL offense.
And I know it was garbage time at that point, but still there was an immediate difference when Baker came in. And here's the thing. Y'all know I've said on this show, this podcast, I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan. Like I called him a Hyundai to Sam Darnold being a Kia. You know, I've never been a big Baker Mayfield fan. But the difference when he came in the game, from the first play was night and day. The first throw he made, was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's an NFL quarterback.
That's a professional quarterback. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Right. So so now I gotta ask, how much heat we giving Steve Wilkes for this game? Because we was loving him when we won 2 weeks ago, and we let him off the hook last week in that letdown against Atlanta. But now you've had for the past 2 weeks, you've had the better quarterback ready to go on the bench, but you stick with your 4-stringer guy. Now I'm not saying that PJ didn't earn his playing time because he did play well last 2 weeks, but I gotta think we don't go down 35-0 with Baker Mayfield starting the game, which is what the score was when he came in the game.
Look, man, Wilkes is getting all this smoke today because, like I said, this defense was totally unprepared to play today. And the coach's job, every coach's job, ultimately is to have your team prepared to play. And the Panthers were not. Now, in regards to P.J. Walker, I mean, you know, speaking in hindsight is easy. But at the same time, we talked about this in the private chat. Okay, PJ Walker was your guy, but the first week you didn't even let him throw the damn ball. So that was letting us know that you didn't even really believe in him to begin with.
Right, yeah.
Okay? So the next week happens and we win a game, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to stick to what works. Not going to blame you too much for that, okay? But at the same time, you look at today and you look at the difference between PJ and Baker. It's like, what are you seeing in practice that made you think PJ Walker was more prepared to play than Baker Mayfield was today? It's not. If I'm looking at this performance, there's no way you could tell us he was more ready to play than Baker Mayfield was.
We've said this on the show. We love PJ Walker. We really do. But there's a reason he's a third string quarter. I mean, if Matt Corral hadn't got injured, he'd probably be on the practice squad. Yeah, let's just keep it a buck. So I think Steve Wilks fell into the narrative. There's like a media and a fans narrative that, well, PJ earned the right to start because he had played well. I feel like the quarterback position in the NFL, unless you are far and away better than the guy that you were replacing due to injury, then you go back to your backup role and the main guy. And I guess because they have some uncertainty with Baker Mayfield. Let's be fair. Baker Mayfield had not played well. Previously he had not played like great. So there was that, and I think Steve Wilks fell into this narrative about, hey, let's let PJ get the snaps. But yeah, I don't know what this means for the Panthers going forward, because now you really can't start PJ next week.
You can't start PJ next week. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't. And now, let's just run off some stats here, shall we? I know people may look at this game and be like, what the hell are we even looking at statistics for? But it's important. PJ Walker was 3 for 10 for 9 yards with 2 interceptions. The Cincinnati Bengals had more first downs than we had touchdowns today.
They had more first downs than PJ Walker had completions. That's dumb. That's dumb.
That's a crazy stat, man.
Now, and you know what? I mean, it's difficult to not be a prisoner in the moment. I'm gonna keep it a buck. PJ Walker had maybe the second best throw in Carolina Panthers history last week.
Right. We're singing his praises last week.
Yeah, that pass traveled almost 70 yards through the air. That was incredible. By the way, the greatest pass ever is Jake Delhomme to Muhsin Muhammad in the Super Bowl. That's still a Super Bowl record, by the way. Longest touchdown pass in history. But I digress. So we're like, okay, PJ, he can make the big throws if he needs to, right? And sometimes it's not about the big throws. You got to make the small ones too. And
but Kaiser, that goes back to what we've always said about PJ. We've never questioned arm talent. We've never questioned arm strength. What have we always questioned about PJ?
Decision making,
dude. And that's the fine line between a professional quarterback versus someone who's just talented. Talent ain't enough to be a good professional quarterback.
The interception he threw against Atlanta last week, I'll give him some slack because the ball was batted and it was just a great play by the defender.
And it was a great play. Yeah. Right.
But this week, those 2 picks, unacceptable. I mean, what are you thinking?
He stared the linebacker down and still threw the ball.
In triple coverage. There was 2 defenders behind him. Why?
Because there are some quarterbacks who have big arms who in their head, they say, you know what? I can get this ball through this small little hole. Yeah. And it hardly works out. Chat, people in the chat, what y'all got today, man? How are y'all feeling? And I have a troll here that I'm going to ignore. His name is Marcus Gray. He's the biggest bandwagon fan in Charlotte history. Don't ignore him. He's only here to talk shit. But the rest of y'all, man, how are y'all feeling today? Like, Are we in tank commander mode? Are we just full on? Hey man, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. I'm guessing we're there now. The rest of the season doesn't matter. I'm guessing that's where the pulse of the fan base is at now.
I mean, I'm not even gonna fucking do offensive, defensive MVP this week. They don't deserve that shit. Johnny Hecker.
Johnny Hecker.
He had an outstanding game.
MVP.
270 yards, put 2 in the 20 with a long of 63. Every week, this guy does his job. Nobody else seems to really do their job on this team. I'm not going to do any MVPs. I am going to shout somebody out. I'm going to shout out Raheem Blackshear because he had a pretty big return. You know what he did, and he had a good run.
Yeah,
or a good a 27-yard reception.
Which begs the question, Kaz. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Number one, why do you run a jet sweep on 3rd and 8 with your practice squad running back? That's my first question, okay? Number 2, why is said practice squad running back in the damn game to begin with?
I don't want to see. I'm sure Spencer Brown is a nice guy.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure nice guy.
Yeah, probably great teammate.
Great team.
Love his mom. But I don't want to see his ass out on the field on Sunday no more.
The last 2 weeks, literally every snap he's been on has been a negative play.
Something bad has happened.
Something bad has happened every time.
Loss, a fumble, the snap and fumble. Yeah. By the way, Terry Smart, yeah. Great play. Great catch. Great throw from Baker. It made me mad. It made me angry because, I'm like, why the fuck didn't y'all do that?
Where was this the whole first half?
Right.
But to be fair, Kaiser, in order to make a good catch, the ball has to actually get there first. So I can't really blame the receiver.
That's true, yeah. I don't even want to talk about this game no more. Next, the Panthers play Thursday night against the Falcons. That's a game we should care about, division rival. We're gonna feel like we owe Atlanta one. And you know what? It's gonna make me really mad if we end up winning this game for a lot of reasons.
I got a feeling we are.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of feel like we gonna fuck around and win this game.
We're gonna show up. Yep. It's at home. It's a home game.
It's a home game. Prime time. You know that they mad about last week.
Yep.
They're gonna come out hitting and flying all over the field. Yep. Baker Mayfield's probably gonna start. He's gonna play well. They're gonna win this game, knowing damn well y'all need to lose this game, but they're gonna win it, and it's not gonna matter because you know why? Atlanta will still be atop the division and we'll still be at the bottom, even with the win, and it'll be pointless. So now you just messed up our draft, our draft
position.
Yeah.
Yep. So with
that's how the Panthers are.
With that being said, you know what? I'm playing with house money, Kaza. I don't even care anymore. I'm gonna pick us to win. And if we don't, oh well.
I'm with you. I'm gonna pick us to win only because that is the Carolina Panthers thing to do.
Yes.
Is win a game that they should not win, and they'll win this game, and I'll be mad.
I will provide some real analysis for this game coming up. The Falcons do have Cordell Patterson coming. Well, he came back today, and it didn't matter to them today, but he will be back. He will be back, obviously, for Thursday's game, man. So that gives us something else to kind of game plan for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's enough to kind of have to spy Mariota all game, and then worry about Patterson being a threat out the backfield and the threat on the receiving end as well. So, I don't know if Al Holcomb is ready for that because he damn sure didn't prove he could coach worth a damn today. So I don't know if he's going to be ready for that Thursday. With all that being said, the Panthers will find a way to win. And like you said, it won't even matter. So
yeah,
I'm gonna pick us to win. I'm gonna go 28-24 Panthers.
Okay, I'm gonna say 24-21. I think it comes down to a field goal again. I mean, there's not a lot of separation between like as far as how good the teams are between Atlanta and Carolina. They're both bad. It's just the Falcons are less bad than the Panthers are.
Right.
So they're gonna play each other close, and it'll come down to 3 points once again, or maybe won't, or I don't care. Who cares, man?
Who cares, man?
Let's talk about the Hornets. I mean, I don't want to talk about them either. So the Hornets. So last week, me and Jamal, because we think we know shit about sports, predicted the Hornets to go 2-2 this week. God
then looked on Charlotte and said, "No, sir, guys, y'all ain't winning nothing this week."
Yeah, the Hornets lost all 4 of their games. They lost to after beating the Warriors, right? They lost to the Kings,
which I predicted.
Yeah, on Halloween, on Bobcats Halloween, in the most Bobcats way possible. Then they sleepwalk their way through the game in Chicago, just kind of just there.
You know what's funny about that Chicago game? So they were down 9 at halftime. It was manageable, right? And then Gordon Hayward does the Gordon Hayward thing and gets hurt, and it all just kind of fell apart after that, man.
Yeah, it's strange because Gordon Hayward is kind of the linchpin of this team, really. It's been that way since he's been here. When Gordon Hayward gets injured, the team is worse. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
And that happened in real time against Chicago. So then we go play Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. We knew how that was going to end up, and then we get trounced by 31 points in a game that really wasn't even that close. They should have beat us by 60, but then we come back home and we face the Nets without Kyrie Irving. We won't talk about Kyrie Irving, but he was.
I don't have the capacity to talk about Kyrie Irving.
But so you think there's a little bit of a chance, and
it was
Hornets up 7 with less than 4 minutes to play and end up losing. But I'm only gonna give them a little bit of slack because that was Terry Rozier. That was his first game back. By the way, Hornets ain't shit without Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is like, look, I'm back. And when the other team has Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant is a cheat code. If he doesn't hit, Kevin Durant's like, give me the ball. I'm going to score because I know we need 2 points right now. And he would go down and just get 2 points. And that was it. And then the Hornets had to come back and struggle to find a way to score 2 points. And they might get 2 points. They might not. If they don't get it, then Durant's like, okay, give me the ball. I'm going to get another 2 points. And that was the story of the game. When LaMelo comes back, it's lit. I don't know what to think of the Hornets.
I do. But go ahead first.
Give them some leeway because they're dealing with injuries, and it's been a while since they've had to deal with injuries this early in the season. Significant injuries. Rozier, Cody Martin, LaMelo Ball, and now Gordon Hayward, and then Dennis Smith Jr., who was having himself a season, also got injured. But at the same time, the Kings, really?
Let's talk about that game first. I'm so glad you brought the Kings up because let's talk about that game. So I predicted us to lose that game. However, to be fair, I did not predict us to blow a damn 15-point lead to a team without De'Aaron Fox. Let's be clear about that. Okay. The Kings have a lot of ways that they can score. However, Davion Mitchell ain't on nobody's damn scouting report. I can assure you that Davion Mitchell wasn't a focal point for Steve Clifford and the Charlotte Hornets. I can assure y'all that. the most frustrating thing about the Hornets this season and seasons before this, guys who come into games shooting sub 30% from three find a way to just somehow find a way to learn how to shoot threes against this team. And look, Kaiser, I have been watching basketball since I was 8 years old. I'm old as hell now. And that is something I cannot explain to you, dude. I can't.
Well, we thought the Hornets, now granted, it was early in the season. Sample size was too small. But they were doing a much better job of defending the perimeter than they had in the past. That's been probably the Hornets' major weakness. Their major weakness this season, at the beginning of the season, was defending the paint. They gave up more points in the paint than any team in the league. But they have the lowest allowed 3-point percentage of any team in the league. And that all went out the window on Halloween against the Kings. Fans, I'm not talking about under construction fans, because you guys tend to be very level-headed and objective and nuanced. But Hornets fans in general, you gotta stop clinging on to like a narrative because it's like your security blanket. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I think Jamal probably knows where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with this.
So Mason Plumlee was here's his box score. His plus minus doesn't matter because everyone on the Hornets went negative except for James Bouknight, which is weird. But Mason Plumlee, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Kevin Huerter went 5 for 10 from 3, and Davion Mitchell went 5 for 6.
5 for 6.
What the hell place Mason Plumlee got to do with them mugs?
How is Mason Plumlee affected? And guys, let's be clear. Just in case under construction fans don't know what the hell me and Kaiser are talking about, there's this new ball rolling with Hornets fans where they're blaming Mason Plumlee for every loss. We're not telling you. Look, me and Kaiser are not telling you that Mason Plumlee is some all-star center. We're not telling you he's not trade bait. We're not telling you any of that. It is so silly. Actually watch the games before you just blanketly just blame somebody for losing. Stop it, y'all. It's silly. It's stupid.
Yeah, Mason Plumlee did what every Hornet fan, man, he gotta get more rebounds. He went 12 and 10. He got a double-double. What else do you want from an NBA
Mason Plumlee, y'all?
Yeah. He got a double-double and a block and then threw 2 assists in for good measure. Like, okay, so that's not spectacular, but we shouldn't have to. We don't need more than that from our center. We need people who can stop Kevin Huerter from being damn Steph Curry. That's what the Hornets need.
Kaiser, I try my best to not be basketball nerd, but let me infuse some basketball nerdom here to everybody. And we're still talking about the Kings game. Steve Clifford mentioned this in the press conference. He said there were 2 things that really affected this loss. He said, number one, we sent the Kings to the foul line way too much. They shot way too many free throws. That's number one. Number 2 were blown coverages. All right. When I say blown coverages, I mean blown coverages on who? Kevin Huerter. On who? Davion Mitchell. Blown coverages that were coming off of screen and rolls where the Hornets were very confused on who to cover, who to switch off of, that kind of thing. That's what lost us the game, not Mason Plumlee, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, Plumlee, he's not like Valanciunas, so I do feel like play Mark Williams. I know they sent him to the G League last week, and that's good. He's gonna, get to play and stay in basketball shape. But no, I'm actually okay.
I don't know why that was funny to me.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with the Plumlee Richards rotation. It could be better. There's a lot that they could both do better, but that's not the reason why we lost.
Listen, I wouldn't be mad at Nick Richards and Mark Williams really competing for that backup role. I wouldn't be mad at that.
That's true, yeah. And you make a great point about blown coverages and switching off of screens. That's part of the reason why we lost to the Nets. The Hornets, I am one firm believer. There are some people in the league you just don't double team. because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you double team Kevin Durant.
Right.
Is that really going to stop Kevin Durant? Mason Plumlee and Kelly Oubre guard? Are they going to lock down Kevin Durant together? No.
Kaiser, there was somebody in the Hornets group who was legit mad that Mason Plumlee couldn't guard Kevin Durant. I can't make this up. They were legit mad that Mason Plumlee.
I mean, I think that was a wrong strategy by Clifford to. They were trying to force the ball out of Durant's hands,
right?
Before the 3-point line. The problem is that the Nets are constructed just to simply surround Kevin Durant with shooters.
Yeah.
So he would just he would pass to the open guy. Oubre would rotate too slowly, 3-pointer in your eye from Watanabe or Joe Harris or a random guy.
Or no, Joe Harris, who didn't hit a 3 all game, but waited to the fourth quarter. Yeah, hit the biggest one. Yep.
Patty Mills suddenly decide he won.
Hey, I'm Patty Mills. I killed the Hornets. Let me turn this on real quick. You can't make this stuff up, man. But beside the defensive lapses, but not to state the obvious here, but the Hornets just lack firepower. It's one thing when you can't stop a team, but when you can't at least keep pace and score with the team, that's a problem too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I will say, and the reason why I'm not but Rodney said we're not mad enough for him. I'm trying to keep things in context.
He's being sarcastic, but
the Hornets are dealing with significant injuries, and I'm gonna be real. They've been more competitive than I would thought they would be with those injuries. And also, losing Dennis Smith Jr. was big,
absolutely, especially in that Nets game.
Yeah, in the Nets game. I mean, he was probably the reason we beat Golden State. I like Teo Maladon. I think he's doing a fine job, but he wasn't doing what Dennis Smith Jr. was doing. And I have this feeling, I'm holding out this hope that when we get Rozier and LaMelo in the backcourt with Dennis Smith Jr. and Kelly Oubre backing them up, the Hornets are going to be decent. They're going to be okay. So also James Bouknight. Bouknight giveth and then taketh away. Sometimes on the same play, and man.
So we're going to be all over the place talking about the Hornets this week because let's talk about James Bouknight in the Nets game because there's something that's sticking out that I want to talk about. James Bouknight is doing this thing where he'll have a good shot, but he'll pass that up.
Yeah.
To take a bad shot. Or to force a pass that ends up in a turnover. So
James Bouknight.
Listen. Hey, Kaiser, no pun intended, but his decision making is something to be desired. I think that's been proven already. But
James Bouknight will bring the ball up court, and it'll be 22 seconds on the shot clock, and he'll just jack up a 3. But then it'll be 3 seconds on the shot clock, and he's driving towards the basket, and he does wrap around pass. It's dude, what?
Listen, there was a possession in the fourth quarter where him and Rozier were in the backcourt together, and the shot clock was against his back, and he was dribbling, and at the last possible second, he passes it to Rozier. Terry Rozier shot him this look on the court what the hell are you doing, man? And
Queen City Horner makes a good point. If James Bouknight makes one more shot, we either win or go into overtime. And I know, it's hard to say that because you can say that about anyone. If you had made one more shot, but the thing is, you got to do better than 1 for 7. Especially considering with our injuries, next man up. Everyone's
what? I'm going to say this too before I forget. All right, so we're hard on James Bouknight, deservedly so. But there's a player that I want to give some smoke to, man. And not really give some smoke to, but more so kind of just say, if he doesn't play well, we don't have a shot to win. And that's PJ Washington. And I'm kind of growing tired of his inconsistency. I really am. Let me tell you why. So during the Kings game, I think it was Ashley Samadi that reported that Coach Clifford told PJ Washington, they can't guard you. You need to be aggressive. You need to score. When PJ Washington scores, we're in the game, okay? We give ourselves the chance to win every game, games where he's successfully scoring. He scored 28 in the Kings game. He's not the reason why we lost, obviously, okay? But at the same time, we had a chance to win. Fast forward to the Bulls game, he disappears. He doesn't show up at all. And we have no chance to win because Gordon Hayward gets hurt. So PJ Washington, needless to say, is the biggest X factor on this team, man.
I think if PJ Washington is called to kind of carry the offense on his own, he cannot do that. He works really well, in the flow of the offense. If everyone is playing well, PJ's going to play really, really well. If Gordon Hayward is taking attention away from him, he's going to spot up. He's going to find the spots. He's going to find the matchups he likes. And he's going to dominate those matchups. But in games where it's like, all right, nobody else is scoring, so PJ, we need you to score. No, that's not going to happen.
Right. So, man, I'm looking at this Bulls game where he goes 3 for 10, 0 for 2 from 3, 8 points. And, that's the game Gordon Hayward got hurt in the second half, which, like I said, you factor those two things in, we have no shot of winning. But that's not even the main thing that pissed me off about the Bulls game. You know what pissed me off about the Bulls game, Kaza? The Bulls didn't even need big games from Vucevic, DeRozan, or Levine.
If you looked at the box score, if I just showed you Chicago's box score, you probably think the Hornets won.
So something called Javonte Green goes 7 for 7 for 17 points, 3 for 3 from 3. Goran Dragic has throwback Miami Heat game and scored 16 off the bench.
That hurt. Yeah, the Goran Dragic. Oh my God.
What do you say?
Okay. So let's talk about the upcoming schedule because I do want to talk about this Miles Bridges situation. Next time you guys see us, the Hornets will have played. We play Washington tomorrow at home. We play Portland Wednesday at home. And then we have a weird back-to-back, weird scheduling thing where we play Miami in Miami Thursday and then Saturday, which is dumb.
Very weird.
For the Hornets has been dumb. They start the season on a road trip. I don't understand this. And then after that, this will be the Monday after our next show, but they play Orlando again in Orlando. So they spend it's like a mini road trip in Florida. They play Miami twice during that. It's dumb. I don't know. But Washington, Portland, Miami. How do you think we come out?
1-3. I'll go possible 2-2 for this reason. Dame Lillard has been kind of battling like this. I guess it's a knee injury, so he's been kind of in and out. If he doesn't play Wednesday, I'll give us a shot to win, and I'll say 2-2. Otherwise, I'm going to go 1-3. And I'll keep it simple, man. We need to get healthy. Like we just don't have enough firepower in the second half of these games. I think we possibly get Washington, and I'm not really overly confident about that. No. We got Washington at home. Hopefully we at least get Dennis Smith Jr. back. We don't really know how that's going to go. So I'm cautiously saying 1-3, but I'm really kind of believing we go 0-4, honestly, man.
I'm going to be a little optimistic here. I think 2-2. I think we're going to – I'm going to be optimistic about Washington. Only because we're playing them at home. I think we lose to Portland. I think we split Miami. Miami is not the Miami of old. They're not even the Miami of last season. They've looked a bit out of sorts this season. They dropped one to Indiana the other night. I think we can take one against the Miami Heat, but it's really just going to depend on who plays. We don't know the severity of Dennis Smith Jr.'s ankle injury. Gosh, what is up with the Hornets' ankle injuries this season?
Right.
And then we don't know when LaMelo Ball's coming back. He may come back in the middle of the road trip. He may not come back. I think it's going to be a while before we see LaMelo Ball. I think it's going to be like another couple of weeks, maybe another 2
Yeah,
weeks.
and I think that's why they've been so quiet about it. I don't think the Hornets really want to say that, but
Right.
kind of but being how quiet they've been, it makes sense.
Yep. So Hornets could go. I mean, so Queen City Hornets, you holding it down for the crown, baby. 4-0. If the Hornets go 4-0, then I will buy you a fifth of whatever you drink to go along with those drugs that you taking. But you know what? That's not that crazy. This stretch of 4 games is not like a super difficult stretch. It's not. I mean, Miami is not, like we said, Miami's not the Miami of old. And then you got Portland that they do have to travel all the way across the country to come play in Charlotte. And then you have the Washington team, which is, we could beat Washington, or they could, Bertans or whoever could.
Some random guy.
Yeah.
It won't be Bill or Porzingis. It'll be random guy. It'll be Daniel Gafford or somebody like that.
Exactly. So, okay, yes, LaMelo holding out to be
Victor.
Rodney trolling. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant that strolled into the courtroom actually. Miles Bridges pleaded no contest to a felony domestic violence charge, sentenced to 3 years of probation, but no jail time. So this is an official conviction.
Yep.
And, essentially it's a deal. He's saying, yeah, I did it. And in return of not having a long drawn out trial, he simply does 3 years of probation with 52 weeks of domestic violence counseling and 52 weeks of parenting classes and 100 hours of community service and weekly drug testing.
Wow.
Although it states that he is allowed to smoke marijuana with a doctor's prescription, which is kind of ridiculous. He cannot own any guns, ammunition, or weapons, which will hurt his rap career. That's gonna hurt. No more flashing guns and videos for you, Miles. And then check this out. This is maybe the most insulting thing about this punishment. He has to pay a $300 fine and a domestic violence fine of $500. Essentially, Miles Bridges paid $800 to beat his wife. Like literally. So now the question is, by the way, and this is a very important point here. The NBA is holding their own investigation, and because Miles Bridges pled no contest, which is essentially saying
admission of guilt. Yep.
That they are allowed to take any action against him, whether it's a suspension, fines, dismiss, all the way up to dismissal, whatever.
On top of that, the Charlotte Hornets said in the statement, "We'll continue to gather information before determining any potential next steps." So that lets me know that they're doing their own investigation. I don't know if I believe it or not.
I think what the Hornets are gonna do is just wait to see what the NBA does and says, and then this is Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan and the NBA have a good relationship. And I think that whatever the NBA says, the Hornets are going to come out and say, yep, we support the NBA's findings and we accept their punishment. And then the minute that punishment ends, they're going to re-sign Miles Bridges.
That's it.
He won't get max. He's not going to get the deal that he would have got prior to this. But yeah, that's what they're just going to wait for that, whatever the punishment from the NBA is to be up, and then they're going to re-sign.
Yeah, and that's the only point I wanted to make. I think we all kind of believe that the Charlotte Hornets they want to re-sign Miles Bridges, and as far as what happened in the admission of guilt, the only thing that I can say is that the Hornets will probably bring that to the bargaining table. You know what I mean?
They should, yeah.
I don't think the Hornets are going to come from this with some moral compass, and I don't think they're going to release some statement about Miles Bridges' behavior. I just think they want I think they want this to be over with. They want people to forget about it, and they want Miles Bridges back on the basketball court. That's how it looks to me.
Here's the thing, though. Can the Hornets really afford to do that from a PR standpoint?
But I'm glad you asked that. And my question, I'm sorry, my rebuttal to that is kind of sad, but I believe it to be true. I think people in Charlotte, at least people in Charlotte, don't care enough. Okay, you get what I'm saying?
No.
If it was a bigger national story, if it was a thing, you know what I mean? I think the Hornets would have some really, really detailed PR work to do. But I don't think there is even enough passion for the Hornets in Charlotte for people to care. And then the people who probably do care a little bit, they probably just want to see a good basketball team. Now, again, I'm not saying that I'm on board with this or I agree with this. I'm coming at you from the perspective of the Charlotte community. I just don't think they care enough for it to be a thing. I don't.
I think the Hornets are going to take a pretty big local PR hit from a lot of fans. You're right, there isn't enough passion, but I do think there are a lot of fans that will feel remiss supporting a team that has in turn is supporting someone who admitted to beating up his wife.
Right.
That's just a bad look. I mean, I think about the Greg Hardy situation. And essentially how the Panthers were like, okay, they did pretty much the same thing the Hornets are doing. We'll see what the league does. Right. And the league dragged their feet, and the Panthers eventually said, okay, well, we're going to suspend him. We're going to pay him, but he's not going to play for the Panthers until this whole thing is figured out. And he ended up never playing another snap in the NFL again after that. He essentially, he got blackballed. He got his money, and he bounced. Panthers fans at the time, here's what's sad. I do think Panthers fans at the time would have been okay with Greg Hardy playing because the Panthers were very, very good.
Right. On the verge of a Super Bowl.
Yep. Winning solves all. But the Charlotte Hornets are not very, very good. They're not nearly as good as the Panthers were relative at that time. They might make the playing game. So if the Hornets decide to re-sign Miles Bridges, Greg Hardy did go to Dallas. Thank you for the correction. If the Hornets decide to sign Miles Bridges, what does that say about the Hornets? We're just a fledgling playoff team, and we decide to re-sign this guy who, considering we suspended Malik Monk for, cocaine use or narcotics use or whatever. And then given how there's been just this checkbox of Hornets getting in legal trouble, that's a bad PR hit to take.
And look, all right, here's devil's advocate coming out, man. So, but it's on the flip side of this, right? What is on the flip side of this? If they don't resign Miles Bridges, if they just let him go, what's coming on the flip side. Oh, man, they don't care about winning. Miles Bridges didn't even do none of that, girl, which is pathetic.
Yeah.
Whatever. You get what I'm saying.
No.
That's coming on the flip side.
If he goes to L.A. and plays with LeBron and puts up crazy numbers, you know what the fans will say.
You already know what's coming on the flip side of that. So, needless to say, man, the Hornets are in a very precarious situation with that.
I agree. It's a no-win situation. I think
it really is. And it's just a testament to how Miles Bridges has wrecked not only the offseason, but he's probably going to continue to wreck the Hornets going forward. So.
There's the rest of the league. So the NBA has blackballed Miles Bridges. They released their top 100 dunks of the season for last season. Miles Bridges was not on that list. So he was not in the video. They've just kind of like swept him away. And so, of course, the fans of other teams are aware of the Miles Bridges situation because he was a free agent or a restricted free agent. So when he comes back, for instance, remember when Jason Kidd played against the Celtics and the fans held up, they had the wife beaters.
Yeah, right.
And they were, I mean, because the Hornets really deal with that. Could Miles Bridges deal with that? Do we want that kind of publicity? Regardless of whether the Hornets want it or not, do we as Hornets fans want that kind of publicity?
You know what? You may have just answered a lot of questions because I forgot all about the Jason Kidd situation, and look how that turned out. He continued to play, and eventually it just went away. It really did. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking the Hornets are hoping for the same thing. There's going to be a lot of that to begin with, but eventually people are going to forget. And
but the Hornets got to win. You got to win.
Right.
I mean, if you don't win, then I mean, it's sad because that's the way professional sports is. But and the Hornets end up going to the ECF. They got no one will even be able to tell you the name of Miles Bridges' wife.
Nobody will care. And
half people I couldn't tell you her name now.
Right. That's just the sad reality of the situation, man.
Yeah, it's true. So I don't. I think the Hornets will actually be all right without Miles Bridges. Based on what I've seen so far this season, despite the injuries, they got to focus on building around LaMelo. LaMelo Ball should be their focus.
Yeah, no doubt. Keeping him here and keeping him happy, absolutely.
Yes, and that means starting LiAngelo in the place.
LiAngelo should start over Gordon Hayward, man.
Hayward, they need to call LiAngelo. Actually, he should stop rapping as well. Because Jamal brings up he kind of brings up a good point that I wanted to make. Here's what I do want to see out of the Hornets and Miles Bridges. Not only do I want to see this, but I think it would be absolutely necessary. And speaking of if they are, planning on re-signing Miles Bridges, which we all think they are. Okay, Rodney, stop it, man. So here's what I want to see. I want to see a PR campaign, not only from the Hornets, but from Miles Bridges himself. I want to see an apology, a full scale apology, not some written bull crap, but something heartfelt, sincere. I want to see the Hornets. I don't know, something. Donate some money to whatever cause, something, man. They have got to act like the Hornets and Miles Bridges have got to act like they are truly remorseful for what happened. I think that's going to be absolutely necessary if they decide on going forward with Miles Bridges, man. They can't just sign him and just hope it goes away. You know what I mean? Plus, the Jason Kidd thing. I mean, he was last a player over a decade ago,
right?
And things were different then. Things were different. I don't know if a domestic violence charge will ever go away in today's times.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Yes, Miles should not wrap his apology. First of all, you have to be able to understand an apology. You have to know what the person is saying.
Yeah, and Rodney brings up a good point, man. Jeffrey Taylor had the same situation a couple years ago, but guess what? Nobody cared. You know why? Because nobody cared about that.
Jeffrey Taylor's trash.
On top of that, nobody even knew who the hell Jeffrey Taylor was. So there's that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I hope Clipper can reel these boys in. And I do not envy Steve Clifford at all.
This dude has a hard job, buddy.
I think Borrego right now probably looking like like, whoa, I'm glad I was dealing with that shit now.
Borrego's probably like, I told y'all, it wasn't me.
Steve Clifford, he not a spring chicken. He probably got heart attack medicine like close by. I mean, I would not want to coach the Charlotte Hornets right now, bro.
But Borrego sitting somewhere in his big ass house in New Mexico, just like, boy, man, this life is great.
But which is funny, Jay Triano is the assistant coach for. Is it Sacramento?
I believe it was Sacramento.
I think it's funny that Jay Triano, who was one of the assistant coaches under James Borrego's staff, immediately got picked up by another team. That's how good Jay Triano was at his job of development. Someone told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. Jay Triano don't develop anyone. I just think it's telling. Like wherever Jay Triano goes, he will find another job. He was the guy that just suggested to Mason Plumlee to shoot left-handed free throws and worked on that with him. And
Jay Triano got Davion Mitchell going 5 for 6 from 3-point against us. So there's that.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
We might know what we're talking about sometimes, y'all.
No. We're just two guys on YouTube.
That's it, man. Ronnie is crazy.
All right, shout outs. I
have some closing remarks. I don't know if there's shout outs or shout outs, man. Being a Charlotte sports fan is not for the faint of heart, man. Charlotte sports was 0-6 this week. If you want to include the Charlotte 49ers football team, if you want to include that, we are 0-6 this week. And the Charlotte 49ers got beat 59-7. This is coming right after. This is 1 week after they actually won a damn game convincingly, where they were favored to get beat by 13. So, if it's not Hornets' luck, which I'm going to attribute the Hornets' not failures, but the shortcomings to luck. Injuries are just bad luck. So I'm not going to crap on the Hornets yet. The Panthers are an atrocity. They're just a train wreck that we're all just ready for it to be over with. We're all of us in tank commander mode. Matt Rule, we still have crumbs of Matt Rule's tenure that we got to deal with. Okay, so just being a Charlotte sports fan is just it's just been exhausting for the last week, man. So shout out to the diehard Charlotte sports fan, man. Just hang in there. I don't even know what to say. It's just
it's hard. We're not even going to talk about the exhibition game between Johnson C. Smith and North Carolina
and the Tar Heels, where the Tar Heels won by
61 points, I think. Yeah. Why did they even do that?
Why did they do that?
Yeah, who wanted to see that? Didn't nobody want to see that? I know it would be a good idea. John C. Smith. Nah, man.
Man.
So shout out to the obvious terrible news that happened over the week. Takeoff from Migos.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Was shot and killed in Houston after an altercation or during an altercation having to do with the dice game. So, I mean, it's crazy because I'm 43 years old. I've been listening to hip hop since I was about 3 years old. Just the amount of dead rappers.
It's mind-boggling, man.
It is just crazy considering now hip hop is not the only genre I listen to, but I'm trying to think about the other genres I listen to, and there's the amount of artists that have died over the last 40 years doesn't even come close to what we've seen in hip hop, and especially considering how most of our brothers in hip hop are dying due to violence. The violence. Right. Here's what kills me about that. The Migos they're super rich. They hang out with Katy Perry. It's true though. Right. Like they're one of their best friends. Right. Why are we getting killed in dice games? I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know why? Listen, man. This is just me kind of just talking, man. I think especially with hip hop, man, we know street cred goes a long way with a lot of rappers. Unfortunately, there's a lot of rappers who can't let go of. I ain't gonna say let go of the streets, but let go of some of the elements that come with the streets. Mainly the company they keep. And when you get to a certain status, no matter what you do, no matter if it's hip hop, business, basketball, whatever, everybody can't come with you. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Look, there are people who are not on your level who don't value life like you do. It's that simple.
Do you think Katy Perry's clique gonna shoot somebody? No. Her.
Hey man, you think Babyface got like some hard dudes he rolling with? You know what I'm saying?
But street cred is a very important thing in hip hop. I mean, it just is. So I kind of get it. Plus, when you come up, the people that struggled with you, you want them to come up too.
You want them to come with
you. So I completely understand it, but at the same time, it's like something's got to give. Something's got to give. We can't have young brothers like Takeoff getting killed over dice games or stupid stuff, and then that, of course, that makes me think of every other rapper that's gotten shot and killed. Freaky Todd, I could literally just fill a book with rappers from our. It's funny, like my kids have to go through the feelings of having like their favorite rappers get killed.
Right.
Like, I went through, and now they gotta go through it. When is it gonna end?
Look, people our age can remember exactly where you were at when Tupac and Biggie got killed. I don't care who you are. You can remember exactly what you were doing when you heard those two things. Okay, and you would think after that, I'm talking about maybe the most seminal moment in hip hop history. You would think after that, people will kind of wake up and be like, "All right, something's got to give," and unfortunately, it hasn't, man.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, man. Hey, yeah, Rodney. When you're ready, the studio's back up. We can come knock that out. But
and look, I would be remiss to not say this, and I'm gonna keep this really short, man. I think there's a way deeper conversation to be had about record companies and mass media. You know what I'm thinking. We won't have this discussion now because we don't have enough time for it. But there's a deeper discussion to be had about mass media and record companies and what they're purveying and what they're putting out. Yes. I'm going to keep it that simple, man. I'm going to keep it short.
Hey, there's somebody out there who doesn't have anything to do with hip hop that is happy Takeoff died, because that means how many streams you think Migos got when the news dropped? Exactly. Consumer needs smoke. Also, I'm gonna need y'all to also stop doing this. Like when something like that happened, particularly if it's video, don't be like, oh, hey, I was there, or my mama's baby's daddy cousin was at the bowling alley handing out snacks, and he tried to save Takeoff. I'm seeing all these. First of all, I don't believe you. I don't believe none of the stories that I'm hearing about people that were supposedly there. Man, I was at South Park when the baby beat up. No, you wasn't. You was not at South Park. Nobody goes to South Park. so you wasn't there. Stop doing that, y'all. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, and stop showing these damn videos on. Yeah, they're for real.
No, stop watching them, because that's why they show.
So that's why they show them. You're right.
I'm gonna get off my old man cloud. Hopefully the next week is better for everyone in Charlotte.
Yeah, right.
Professional sports or otherwise. Yeah.
Oh, I got one more quick closing remark, man. You know what my goal is for next week, Haza? It ain't got nothing to do with Charlotte sports. You know what my goal is for next week? My goal next week is to not hear anything about Kanye West or Kyrie Irving. If I go 1 week without hearing,
my God,
it is a win. Stop it! I don't even care how you feel. Just talk about something else, please.
No, you ain't got the answers.
My third eye ain't open, man.
Yep. Y'all have a great week, man. We love y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Oh, peace.